You are a unique individual with the power to change lives just by being who you are, sharing your wisdom, and telling your story. Welcome, everybody, to Jen's Pen Live, where we find interesting people who make the world a better place, and we ask them to share their story. Today, we're talking with Brian Campbell. This is quite a treat. Brian is basically a relationship builder, right? He's launching something that we'll talk about in just a minute called Icon Mastermind. And Brian contacted me like a year ago or something like that and just started a conversation. He helped me out. He offered me great advice, just sincere, all good vibes. And I'll let him tell you more about what happens then. Brian, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on here, Jen. And, just so everyone knows, Jen and I became friends a little while ago. So it's always a pleasure to talk with Jen, and she's a wonderful person too. So I just have to say, it would make sense to get to know Jen better. So it makes sense, since you asked, on what's happening right now. I actually was in a retirement for a couple of years offline. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 20 years off and on. I came back a year ago and created a mastermind group. From that, partnered up with a guy named Adam Bart. We did some interesting things for a while, built a lot of great relationships that unfolded over the last year and blossomed. And I had my Facebook group, which was kind of private. It was full of like clients and people that I worked with, did workshops with, spent lots of time actually getting to know people. So there's about 150 people in there that I have the blessing and the experience of knowing these 150 real people, awesome people like Jen, that are out there making an impact on the world. And, in the coaching industry is where I focus, but basically experts at helping people get results and changing their lives, different kinds of transformations. So this week I actually opened up the group, and I'm allowing everybody to promote themselves freely, as long as you're kind. Okay. So meanness gets you bumped out of the group instantly, right? But as long as you're kind, we're just encouraging people to present their message and to grow their audience. And it's actually very simple. I have a solution here because, in the online space, there's a lot of noise, a lot of people just posting like a machine gun, right?
Yeah.
And there's a problem. How do you stand out from the noise?
Right,
well,
exactly.
Firstly, don't make noise, right? If you don't have a clear agenda, purpose, mission, vision, you've heard it said a million ways. If you don't have that, you're making noise. And what happens is you're actually supporting people who have a plan, who have a strategy, who have a clear message. You're actually feeding them. They love it. The strong survive, right? So basically it comes down to this. I've created a model. There's 4 things that are really important. Okay. And I'll share it here with you right now. And Jen, you can ask any questions about that. So the first thing is, okay, we'll talk about this in a business context. This is a circle. So none are real. It's like a chicken and the egg. They're all important. I have to start talking about one because we live in a logical world, right? So your offer, knowing what you do to help people, just understanding what it is that you do, that needs to be clear. You've heard this said by everyone. We all know this, common sense, right? So how do you help people? So easy a 3rd grader can understand it. Not some complicated, avatar description that's 16 pages. How do you help people? What's the main thing you do? Do you help them lose weight? Do you help them make money? You have to think about it in simple terms. Okay. The days are over. 20 years ago when I got started, if you could exaggerate and make it sound over the top, like it's amazingly, stunningly, wonderfully powerful, right? You had to talk like that to make sales. That was all hype. We have an awesome opportunity now, Jen. No hype, simplicity.
I love that.
That's where it's at right now, okay? And it's an awesome opportunity because we can literally go back to explaining it. We have these ideas of I just want to help people do this.
Right.
And then you go and learn from people that say, well, no, you got to present it this way. And it gets all complicated, right?
It doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah. And because the thing is this, if you can say it in a simple way and you have a clear message and you put it out there, at the end, when people get to know you, you build the right relationships. At the end, you can say, hey, if you need help with this, I can help you. And it's become that simple to get clients. But you have to be clear what you're doing. Okay. So first, and again, these aren't in order, knowing what that offer is, being clear. And then what you want to do is create a message. Your message needs to match your offer. So that clear thing that you help people with. Now, it's not just one thing. There's 3 or 4 things that you're helping them with, right? There's like 3 or 4 major outcomes that you can help people achieve with whatever you're doing, right? If you were honest and simple about it, there's like maybe 5 things that you help people do in the process of the main thing you do. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you need to have a clear message that's based on these. Maybe it's 3 things, maybe it's 5 things, but like no more than that, like about 5 things, possibly 6 if you're really sophisticated, right? No more than 7. Phone numbers are 7 digits long because the brain can't contain more than that. 7. Right. Okay. So think about anyone who's famous. What do they help people with? Like Frank Kern, known for online marketing, right?
Right.
Russell Brunson, what's he known for?
I was going to say, like, he was a student of yours at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah. So when Facebook first started, I went online and saw the marketing potential of it. There was no ads yet. Mm-hmm. There was 0 courses on how to do Facebook for marketing. I did a publicity stunt. I'm going to make $10,000 in 37 days. Blogs ripped me apart. So you can't make money on Facebook. There's no ads. No one had done it yet. There was nothing on it. So I made $250,000. I launched a 50 slot 5K program. Russell Brunson's my famous student. I don't know what other training he took. So, I mean, he wasn't Russell Brunson, all I can say. Gary Vee didn't exist till about a year later. I love it because what I was teaching back then, if you listen to Gary Vee's message, it makes me feel good because like that was my message. It still is. You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. These are all people who help more people because they help them get the word out there. That's
it. I mean, Gary Vee, how awesome is he, right?
Yeah.
So, but these guys have a clear message. Like they focus on like a couple things, right? It's not super complicated what they do, and they build relationships. Right. So your message, super important. There needs to be an alignment between the message and the offer. Right. They got to match up or you're creating noise. Okay. And then once you have the right message where it matches your offer, now in content, you're actually talking about the stuff that you help people with. What's that going to do? That's going to attract an audience that wants what you got. And it's so simple.
So simple.
So simple. Like literally, I could work with you for like an hour. If you already know what you're doing, you already have like a real program and stuff, we could figure it out in an hour or 2. And if you just stay on that simple plan, and it's called alignment when these 4 things match. Okay. A mistake a lot of people make is in their content every day, they're looking for an original angle to say something different, new, to try to no, you want to be like a rock band who takes their greatest hits on tour. And that is your message. That's what you're known for. The Rolling Stones for 50 years have had to play Satisfaction every night. Do they hate it? No. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, they say they love it because this is what they're known for. This is what 50,000, 100,000 people will pay $150 to see, right? And yeah, they've written many other songs. They always have a new album. They're always doing good stuff, but they always have to,
they have to play Satisfaction.
They're going to play Satisfaction, right? And we could name lots of others, but you know what I mean?
Yes, certainly.
They have like 3 volumes of greatest hits they're known for, but Satisfaction is probably their best, most known for. And that's the thing. When you have this consistent message, whether it matches your offer or not, your consistent message that you put out there is what you're known for.
Right.
So if you're always saying you hate Trump and you have a business, but you're not really talking about a clear message in your business, you'll just align with people that hate Trump or love Trump. Right. Or, political thing or love of animals. I mean, it's not bad or good. What the message you put out there is what you're known for.
Right.
So if you're struggling with promoting yourself, it's this simple. Get clear about what it is you can help people with. There's a couple layers to it. So, what do you help them with? What do they need to do to get the result that you do? In simple terms, I'm not talking complicated. How does it feel when they have what you give them. This is what you talk about exclusively. And there's like 5 things. Memorize these 5 things. You can go on a Facebook Live. You can write a post. You can go on a podcast, and you're always on your message. If you know your 5 things, you have to memorize your message. You got to know what it is. I'm talking about my message here. That's all I'm doing. Right. And in fact, there's 4, but then there's a couple other little things. So the relationships is an important part too, right? But really, the audience comes from your consistent message. So from the day you have clarity on what you do as a coach, and you look at anyone who's successful, they've got a clear message. It's not rocket science. Simple. You put that message out there for 14, 30, 60 days. You're going to be known for what you do. Just like, you know any real estate agents in your feed, Jen?
Yes.
Are there any local real estate agents that you know?
I know several local real estate agents.
So when it comes time to buy a house, which might be 6 months from now, 2 years from now, do you know who to call?
Exactly.
There's no doubt about what they do, right? Same with the plumber. You might know some plumbers or auto mechanics or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Our industry is not any different. And here's a content mistake people are making, okay? So, and this will sound ridiculous when I describe it. This is what 90% of people are doing as coaches. So let's just look, it's helpful to look at just like a normal industry. My dad was a roofing contractor, okay? High ticket sale. You go in someone's living room, they're gonna spend 20 grand on a brand new roof, right?
Right.
And it was awesome because I got to go in these as kids. He always took me, probably because I helped with the sale, I'm feeding my kids and all that, but I got to learn, right? So, he would bring the samples. Here's how you pick your color. And, I'm the best roofer that ever lived. He believed it. Whether he said it or not, he had confidence because that's what he specialized in. He could do any kind of roof, right? So, but let's look at a roofer who wants to market himself online. You'll see the ridiculousness of this example. Here's how a coach would try to market a roofing company. And this is just what I see every single day, even people that are making money. Okay, you want to hear it?
Yeah, I'm waiting with bated breath.
You go online and you start saying, hey, if you're missing a shingle, here's what you got to do. Grab a ladder, climb up on the roof, and here's a step-by-step guide on how to replace a shingle. Okay? Now, your roof's shot. It's not just about one shingle. Here's a step-by-step guide for free on how to replace your roof. You got to tear it off. Here's how to do a re-roof. And, if you spend 3 hours watching my video tutorial series, you can install the roof. How many customers is that person going to get?
No one wants to do their own roof.
Because your content isn't aligned with your offer. Your content is for do-it-yourselfers. So it's either people who they just have that can do. I want to do it myself. Even they might have the money, but they want to learn because they're interested.
Right.
Or people who would love to hire a roofer, but they don't have the money. So they're forced to do it themselves.
Right.
So that's the audience you build.
Yeah.
So that's the major mistake. Even if you think you have a clear message, now you're basically, you're teaching people for free how to do what you do and just not presenting yourself properly. So what should a roofer do? My dad specialized in flat roofs. Mm-hmm. So he promoted himself as the flat roof specialist. He had a half-page ad and 5 different phone books because he made the most money on the flat roof. Easiest to install, there was no tear off. So we just go right over hot tar roof, done.
Right.
One day you could do a normal size house or 2 or 3 days for a large business. That's what he wanted. So he's the flat roof specialist, right? And he would talk about how great the product was. He had a sample and you couldn't here, tear this. You can't rip it with your hands. It's strong. He's going to melt it together. It forms a solid layer of rubber that covers the whole roof. I've been installing this. I'm actually licensed from the manufacturer. If you call anyone else in the phone book or in the newspaper, these guys have never been trained the way I've been trained.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what this content was about.
Right.
And yet, so there's a confidence problem, right? Because people, they might know their clear offer, but now it really comes from not really knowing what you do.
Right.
We're thinking you know what you do, right? Your content and your message should be about how great it's going to be when someone gets what you give them.
Right. The emotional payoff at the end.
Yeah. Logical and emotional.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Thanks, Jen. It was really nice talking.
That was great. Great training. Thanks so much, Brian. That was great. So this is, I'm just always transfixed by your approach. You know what I mean? I know that that's really, really simple, clearly, but you're right. The whole do-it-yourself thing, absolutely. Like, yeah. Like I could put out about how, like, talk to people about how they should write a book, and then they're going to go write their own book. And those are the people that I'll attract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So in that example, you want to talk about how great it is to have the book.
Right.
And how people struggle with not knowing how to write a book. And I can work with you to create this book, even if, I mean, I know that might not be your case, but even if you were just selling a course on how to do it.
Right.
You know, and then maybe you're helping them a little bit with some coaching calls because, okay, how do you determine the outline for your table of contents? Right. And what coaching is it's like getting someone else's opinion and their expertise so that you don't have to do it the long, hard way, right? And great example of that, I have a client who's working on her offer. We got to the point where she knew what her offer was. She wrote the offer and I thought, no, let me just write it for you because I understand. So I wrote it. She loved it. Mm-hmm. And I wrote it in about an hour and a half. I mean, I've been working with her for a while, so it was easy to do. When I sat down to write my own offer, it took me like 3 whole days to write the same amount of words. Right. Because I'm like, for me, it's like, you know, it's my ego gets in the way. I have such a big vision and how do I put that in so many words? And it's hard for me to say it simple because I'm an expert on what I do. There's a lot
of intricacies that go in there that you can't state in a quick sentence.
But I'm talking over everyone's head. I'm like, it's too advanced. I need like the layman's opinion because that's like, I'm helping people that aren't experts because I'm, you know.
Right, because you're the expert.
What I do, yeah.
So tell me, let's talk about how you got to where you are. You are an expert in helping coaches market themselves in a way that's not gonna make them feel bad about themselves, in a way that's like honest and sincere and caring about the person that you're getting in touch with, rather than just like, hey, can I sell you something? Great. No, okay, over here. Like, that's what I love about your approach. It's making sure it's simple, it's clear, and it's making sure that people are just coming from the heart. Yeah. How did you get there?
Well, I majored in math in college, and in that experience, I learned that there's two ways to make either a lot of money or look good. Mm-hmm. Make something simple really complicated. That's what we have politics and religion for, right? Or make something complicated simple. I prefer that because that feels better for me. Mm-hmm. Okay, so how I got here, my approach has always been for 20 years, and it's allowed me to retire 3 or 4 times. I spent 5 years as a monk on Maui without a thought about money at all, because of the whole Russell Brunson thing. I didn't work for a while. I lived in a tropical rainforest and seeked enlightenment until I understood that love is a real thing, and then I'm here to help people. So I came out of that. It took me 5 years to get that message, and I honestly believe it. So, and to not be afraid of who I am, which is another thing that most people are. Okay. So, but what I've always realized from the beginning, I don't know how I knew this, is you got to form relationships with people. So you're either like, I mean, if you have an audience, like I'm fortunate before social media, I was broadcasting emails to a list of subscribers. That's how I had to build a relationship. So I had to have a message that would convert. I had to like tell them in words what I did and the benefits and all this stuff. So I went through the old school way of doing that, right? Because now you post something, it gets a like, and you have this like delusion that that's progress, right? Back then, I sent an email, and if it didn't land a sale, I knew I had to write a different email. Right. So, but what I understood even then, it's about the relationship. You got to connect with the people, because at the end of the day, whatever you're doing, there's a dozen or 100 or 1,000 people that kind of do what you do.
Yeah.
And I'm
At least.
not robbing you of your uniqueness. Your uniqueness is where it's at. But it's the relationship, especially in the coaching industry. You're paying for time with people. Like,
yeah. The uniqueness has completely to do with the person and not with what they do.
It's people you want to work with.
Yeah.
And you want to work with them so badly, you're going to get out your credit card or your wallet and invest in working with that person. And of course, they have to have a good process, but it's more than that. Okay. And, you know, when I first got started, it's before social media. So I went out and found it was a foreign currency trading course. And I was lucky at that time, I was the first Forex trading course. So online on the internet. So I found every website that ranked for the top 100 keywords for stock trading, Forex trading. And I had to go in the who is and look up, how do I contact them? I'd email them, I'd call them on the phone, I'd recruit them as my affiliates. I built JV partnerships, which is what I've been doing for the last year now. Is I've been building partnerships with people where I can come on your profile, Jen, and meet new people. And in my group, that's what the group is all about right now. And that's what the Icon Mastermind is. So in the group, we're teaching you how to do these things for free. Join the group, promote yourself, put your message out there, meet all these wonderful people I've already brought there, and go for it. And if you want to collaborate, we've got some options for that too.
So really, just want to go back to this really quick. You were a monk in Maui in the rainforest?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So I created my own order. It's an order of one. I think I will accept other monks, initiate them in the future, but it's this Shenzhen Yujo Monastery, which was not a building, a state of mind, in a tropical rainforest. And I meditated in the bamboo forest for 5 years.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about your Icon Mastermind thing that you've got going on.
So for the people who are like digging this and you want to collaborate with someone, what it is Icon stands for two things. First, it's an inner circle organic network. So building your inner circle. It's really based on the philosophy of look at what, and this is not a religious message, but just look at what a guy named Jesus did with 12 people. He reached a billion. Okay, I've got a friend, Aaron Weber, in the group. I really connected with him because he had his pastor and him, they had this concept of just pick 12 people to love. And like, that's your mission in life is to, and we really connected because we have that same idea.
Yeah.
So your group of like, it's your tribe. I mean, there's different ways to describe it, right?
Yeah.
You need that for social proof. It's like when you post something, you've got people that have, like, you don't have to defend yourself. You got your people that have your back, right?
Right.
And it's also it's a lot more fun than just competing with the world. You got some people that you're helping that are helping you. So that's just enjoyment because it gets lonely. And the more successful you get online without teaming up with people, now you're in your own world where you can't relate to anyone. That's why I got out of mathematics. I realized I could be the best in the world at what I did in math. And I was getting close to it even as an undergrad. I was talented in math, but I didn't want to be in a world where there's 4 people that understand what I'm talking about. Right. I didn't want to go there. You know?
Right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
I just didn't want to live in the logical mind only, right? The heart is where it's at.
And then only be able to relate to a certain amount of people.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are meant for that. That to me, it just didn't, my intellect could handle it, but my spirit couldn't.
Right.
You know? So it's kind of a way to have, like I partnered with one of the members from last year. We became business partners and we kind of focused exclusively on that for a while. That's like a marriage, but it's a way to have like a nice open relationship. Team up on projects, like you host events, you do cool shit together, but you're still free to build your own thing and grow, whether it's with people in our mastermind or not. But the thing is, as we deal with people that aren't in our mastermind, it helps us, like, together, we're working together with a strategy. So we're going to reach more people faster. And we get to dominate the people who are making noise without the message. And that feeds what we're doing. So, you know, my mission is to help people not make noise and to make an impact. You can make an impact if you're clear. You just pick your mission, and it could be a couple things, but it should be pretty simple. And you can do it. It's accessible. Hard to do it on your own. I'd say it's possible, but that's the shitty, sucky, long, hard way to do it.
Yeah, it's going to take a long, long time if you do it on your own. Sure, you could do it, but it'll take you 20 years to get to where you want. Whereas if you have a group of people that are like-minded, you can get there in a year or whatever.
And you can shortcut because I've already built the relationship, so you can just get right into it.
Right. Okay, Brian, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
So you can send me a messenger message. The best thing to do would say, hey, can I join your group? Because you're going to immediately go in there, meet cool people, and be able to promote yourself. So you can, like, my best advice, just say, hey, Brian, can I check out your group? I'll send you the link, get in there and just tell people who you are and what you do. You're going to be bombarded with a bunch of cool people that are going to support you. You'll make some good connections. And I teach lots of good stuff in that group, and we'll just go from there.
That's awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise, sharing your story. I love your message. I feel very personally attached to it because as far as I'm concerned, I help people who help people, help more people.
There you go.
That's sort of, you know what I mean? Like just a different tack on it. So I'm really very excited about your message and getting it out there for other people to see. Other people, honestly, like me, who want to be like, getting out there and advertising and marketing themselves, but just feel very uncomfortable with the way that it's typically done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's up to people like us who have that vision to change the world. Or there's two things. You either make the change or you got to deal with the change that other people are making. And, you know, we have a chance right now with the way the world's hit a reset button. We get to rewrite the rules for the future.
Yeah.
It wasn't super possible like 30 years ago. It was hard, right? You didn't own a newspaper. Now you're connected to everyone. Think about it, guys. You're connected to everyone almost in the world for free. Like, come on. What are you complaining about?
It's crazy. That's crazy. It's a
Don't
very exciting time.
Don't
Sorry?
blow it. It's a great opportunity, right?
Yeah, exactly. We can all, as long as we're thinking positively and thinking like that, we can be the change we want to see in the world.
And ask for help if you need it. That's the big thing, right? Because
Yes, that's a big one.
if
All right,
you're
Brian.
not, if it ain't clicking and it's not working, like, you know,
Yeah.
you probably understand 90% of what you need to know. And there's just like some mysteries that you need to, you know, an answer to.
Right. You need to talk to someone who already did it.
That's it.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for coming on. I always love talking to you. You're such a great guy.
Yeah, lots of fun.
And anybody out there who wants to talk to Brian, you can get in touch with him by DMing him, as you just said. I'll put some information in the description of this chat, this little interview that we're having. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for watching. Aloha.
Aloha.